What's going on, Revolutionaries? And if you're new here, welcome to the war. So the title of the video we're going to be commenting on today is the truth about my divorce. This streamer who I'm not familiar with because I'm not big in the streamer space, apparently went through a pretty bad divorce. So let's see what he has to say about it. And like I said, I'd like to teach you guys about freedom, fun, and adventure, and just living the life of freedom. And one of the biggest things that's going to be a determining factor of how free your life is the partner that you choose. So let's see what he went through.
Let's talk about the divorce. So I've been away for quite a while. Let me tell you why. At this point, the case is over. I've been trying to get this divorce settled. It was a lot longer process than I thought, and I haven't talked about it in any official way up until this point. There's two different courts. There's the court of public opinion, that is Reddit, Twitter, all those great and wonderful places. And then there's the court of law, where I believe that was the best place to spend most of my time and focus most of my efforts. After it was settled, then we could talk about it. We could dispel any rumors or any sort of questions people had. And that's who this video is for. It's for people who genuinely are curious about what happened. I have documents here in front of me. I'm gonna read them as they are. I'm gonna try my best to not have any of my opinions in here. Some of these things are a bit confusing for people who don't know lawyer speak. So I'm gonna do my best to explain these documents in a more casual way, so hopefully everyone can understand them. Keep things as plain as I can. This isn't to inflame the situation or cause any stress to anybody whatsoever. I just wanna speak the truth, finally. So I want to do my best to provide an accurate timeline of what happened. The divorce was filed by Milena in January of 2025. We had split up the previous year. It was amicable. We tweeted about it on Twitter. Everyone saw that. And the divorce ended up being officially filed by her in, like I said, January. I sent Milena a 50-50 offer down the middle in April of that year. She did not accept it. I did not know what she wanted out of this divorce until mediation, which was...
So he offered her 50-50, which is already generous. Because I think 50-50 is a bit much. It's 2026. Go get your ass a job. You shouldn't be living off me after we get divorced. Especially if they don't have kids. I don't know if they have kids or not, so that may be a determining factor. But I think a 50-50 split is a big deal. I did a little bit of research on this guy, but he's very successful in the streaming world. I know how much money comes with streaming. So if he's willing to give her half of that already, she should have just took it and ran. But these women be greedy. So let's see what she asked for.
Actually in November, and essentially what she wanted was the same thing she wanted in trial, and that's what we have here. I warned Milena that trial would be very expensive. It would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, but still we had to go to trial, and you'll see why. So bear with me now. We are gonna go into some legal documents. What I have here is what they call Nmplol Polum's First Amendment disposition of issues. So this is essentially what she wanted. I'm gonna read the document to the best of my ability because I can't read very well, but I'm gonna explain things so everyone can kind of understand what she wanted and how it went down. Keep in mind, we each had this. This one's hers, this one's mine. We'll go over mine, but first let's do hers. Hers is a bit long.
That's a thick piece of paper. That's a thick bundle of paper she has compared to his. That's a thick bundle of paper. I know these things are gonna be vicious. She's gonna ask for the sun, the moon, the universe, the stars, all that. I know this is gonna be crazy. And before we even continue, I gotta ask women, why in 2026, the year of our Lord, with the advent of feminism and everything going on, do you guys feel like you still need to do this to a man when you guys get divorced? Like, there's really no reason. You guys are strong and independent. You're more educated than us. You guys are out earning us, apparently. No. You guys still feel the need to do these things. You're still wanting to get taken care of by a man. You should be trying to escape the patriarchy. Get up from underneath his thumb. Go live your life. You don't have to be getting taken care of by a man. Like, why? Why would you want to do that? I think that goes against everything that some of y'all believe in.
The first thing she wanted, and by the way this works is it's essentially a line with like for a check mark and then the thing that they wanted. So the first thing that she wanted was to grant the divorce between the parties on the grounds of insupportability. This is very important, and I'm explaining exactly what that means right now. In Texas, a divorce can be granted on the grounds of insupportability, which is the state's no-fault divorce ground. The Texas Family Code defines insupportability as a conflict or discord of personalities between the spouses that destroys legitimate ends of the marriage relationship and prevents any reasonable expectation of reconciliation.
In short terms or in easy words, I just want to leave. I ain't got no reason to leave you for real. You ain't done nothing negative to me, but I just don't want to be here no more. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce. That's what no-fault divorce is.
In practical terms, it means neither spouse has to prove wrongdoing. No evidence of adultery, cruelty, abandonment, or other fault is required. The court only needs to find that the marriage has become unworkable and that reconciliation is not reasonably expected. So you can file divorce on other grounds, and I'll explain what those are. Cruelty. You can file for adultery, which didn't happen, conviction of a felony, abandonment, living apart, etc. She filed on the grounds of insupportability. Next, award Nmplol Polum a disproportionate shares of the party's estate for the following reasons, including but not limited to. So she wanted more than 50-50. respondent's economic and financial abuse of the petitioner, respondent's failure to permit access to the party's community property accounts, including for purposes of insight and access to such community funds, benefits the innocent spouse may have derived from continuation of the marriage, disparity of earning power of the spouses and their ability to support, earning power, business opportunities, capacities, and the ability of the spouses, nature of the property involved in the division, waste, and attorney's fees to be paid.
So wait, it's economic abuse that she didn't have access to all his stuff? Now, I understand that when you're married, that everything is now one, right? Everybody likes to think of his and hers and all these other things. But in reality, once you guys get married spiritually and more so legally, because marriage is a contract, it is a business decision. Yes, you guys are one, but I don't see where there's economic abuse. Like, was he not letting you eat? Was he not keeping the lights on? Was he using money to keep you trapped? Like, what is it? Like, he's going to get into it, but something tells me this is going to be a good old-fashioned bucket of warm spit. So let's see what they're talking about.
So to explain that, the judge, in order to grant Milena her disproportionate share, would have to find something that fits those sort of grounds. Any of those bullet points that I read off. Next, confirmation of Milena Midtoy's separate property as outlined in the attached spreadsheet, meaning that there's an attached spreadsheet here that has her own property in it. Makes sense. Next, order Milena Midtoy Polum's waste claim for Nicholas Michael Polum's excessive expenditures. That was over $100,000 they had claimed against me. The next thing she wanted, and this is one of the reasons why we had to go to trial, order Milena Midtoy Polum's request for post-divorce maintenance for a period of 5 years from February 1st, 2026 in the amount of $5,000 a month. So she wanted me to pay her $5,000 a month for 5 years. We don't even have kids.
Hell no. Hell no. $5,000 a month and there's no kids. Look, if there's a kid, $5,000 a month, I still think is too much. I think $2,500 is a good like max flat rate for anybody. That should be like the absolute max because you should be able to cover the rest. And they don't even have kids. You're talking about $5,000 a month. Girls, what I'm saying here is that this is economic abuse. This is abuse of the system. And the crazy thing is the judge that has to go through all this is a civil service. So our taxpayer dollars are going towards making sure that these people can go there and try to extort men out of their money because they don't want to be with the men anymore. You are out of your mind, boy. Divorce court is the craziest thing on the planet. That's why I say prenup should be mandatory upon marriage. You should not be allowed to be granted a marriage certificate or a marriage license or whatever they give people who are married. You shouldn't be allowed to be granted one of those until there's a prenup in place that was looked over by two lawyers, because that's the gold standard according to the lead attorney, who was a divorce lawyer, where you get her an attorney to represent her interests. You have an attorney to represent your interests. He said a good, well thought out prenup shouldn't cost any more than $4,000 to $4,500, which may sound like a lot of money, but later down the road, it's gonna pay dividends if you guys do so happen to split. I don't know if he had a prenup. I don't know if he's gonna get into it, but this is why I think that you shouldn't be able to get married without a prenup. It should be legally binding. You should have to get one, period. Just like I think you shouldn't be allowed to sign the birth certificate unless you get a paternity test, period. There's certain things that should be put in place to protect people, specifically protect men, but there are women who get jerked off like this, two paws. And I think that is absolutely crazy. This system is designed to really screw people over.
Next, and this was the biggest one, the most important one, and it's gonna take some time to explain it because this is also why we really had to go to trial. Order Milena Midtoy Polum be granted a judgment against Nicholas Michael Polum with specific language securing such entrance against the shares and stock held by Nicholas Michael Polum with his interests in OTK Ventures, OTK Media, and Kings Gaming Labs Incorporated. So this is essentially the crux of the entire trial. I mentioned earlier that Milena wanted a disproportionate share of the estate. She wanted a 60-40 split of the entire estate. But it was
he offered 50-50, and she's asking for 60-40 of his money when she is, I am assuming because he didn't mention otherwise, a healthy adult female that could go out there and get a job. Go get you a job, you broke bum. You don't have to be out here trying to take money from people like this. This goes against everything feminism believes in. And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to crack on feminism, but it's like when you're on the internet and you see these things that women talk about, how they don't need a man and how they don't need men like fish need bicycles and we're independent and we make more money. This makes all women look bad. You guys don't even understand that. Like, a woman like this makes the successful women look bad because at the end of the day, you could go out and you can make it happen for yourself. Plenty of women do. There's no reason that these divorce laws should still be in place like this. So yeah, let's continue.
It was a little bit more complicated than that. What she wanted to do essentially was have her 60% be all cash and my 40% be heavily weighted in my OTK shares. She wanted about 90% of the cash reserves, plus she wanted me to pay her this post-divorce maintenance, and my 40% would be essentially all in my OTK shares, which no one really knows what those are worth. This was the biggest point of contention in the trial for me. I don't think
90% of the cash reserves. 90% of the cash. You greedy, raggedy. Ooh, I'm trying to stop using profanity. I'm trying to stop. But this explains why dudes crash out. You talking about you want 60%? Hell, Jesus only said give 10% to the Lord, and you want 60% of his income? 60% of the cash reserve? $5,000 a month? Girl, if you don't get up and go get you a job, like what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all?
think anyone would have accepted the offer that was presented in front of them. Essentially, it would drain me to 10% cash reserves, be in debt a whole bunch of money. So I would put a lot of trust in those OTK shares being worth something someday. So that is just about half of the document. And I don't know if I should say this, but now it gets kind of funny, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Up next is a section called income taxes, and let me read this for you. Order that any refunds received from the date of marriage through the date of divorce be divided equally by the parties, with Milena Midtoy being entitled to 50% and Nicholas Michael Polum being entitled to 50%. So if there's a tax refund, she will get half of it, I will get half of it. Makes sense, right? Order any liability from the date of marriage to the date of divorce be paid solely by Nicholas Polum. So if there was a tax bill, I would have to pay for all of the taxes.
So let me get this straight. She would get 50% of the returns, but he would have to cover all of the loss. So we can share the money, but we're not going to share the debt. You people out here, I think, need to be hit upside the head with a dirty frying pan, because I don't see how anybody could even have the gall to ask for this. The fact that she even had the ability to ask for this shows that they think that this nonsense is possible, because we reward this nasty behavior because some women actually do win these kinds of cases. Luckily, this is a man who's financially affluent. He's able to defend himself. But some people are out there getting shafted. I'm talking no Vaseline, bent over a stove, just taking it, because these lawyers, these judges, and these laws are working against primarily men. I know that, like I said earlier, there are some women who go through this too, but it's primarily men. So how is it that you get 50% of the income, but not 50% of the debt? You know that also works with like stocks. If you have stocks in your name, and let's say the stocks shoot up, she can request more spousal support or child support because you just had a increase in income, even though it's all unrealized gains. But when that stock goes down, you cannot go and be like, hey, my stock went down, I had a decrease in income, can I please have my child support or my spousal support lowered? You can't do that. The way I see it, stocks going up and going down is not income. That's unrealized gains. That's like saying you want more money out of me because the house is worth more now. Oh, the equity in the house that you own went up? Yeah, I'm gonna need more money out of that. That's absolutely ridiculous. There's no income there. It's unrealized gains.
But if there's a refund, Milena would get half of it. Order that the parties file separate tax returns and partitions as January 1st, 2026, and each party be liable for their own respective taxes for 2026 and each awarded respective returns for 2026. Makes sense to me. Up next, injunctions. And this is where it gets a little bit confusing. I'll try my best to explain it for everyone. Order Nicholas Michael Polum be restrained and enjoined from making any public statements, whether written, verbal, or visual, regarding the ongoing litigation and the parties' divorce, unless mutually agreed upon in writing by the parties and filed within the court.
So she wants a gag order. She wants him to basically sign an NDA. He can't say nothing about it, but notice only his name was on there, not hers. So she can go out there and throw dirt on his name and try to, slander him and defame him all she wants. She could be on all the podcasts talking about how terrible he was and all this, and he won't be able to even defend himself. That seems like a violation of your First Amendment rights, in my humble opinion. I am not an attorney yet. So this is this is wild to me, that you would even ask for that. So I can't speak now, knowing that I have a platform, knowing that what I do is talk about things. Well, I don't know exactly what he streams about, but the fact that you think that you can tell me I can't talk about it, but you can go out there and talk about it. The only way I'd even be willing to agree, no, I would never agree to this. No, we're both going to talk about it. And if I have to pay a fine or go to jail for it, it is what it is.
That essentially says that me, and you notice her name's not there, but me and me alone can't talk about it. And then the next line is, strictly in the event the court does not grant the requested permanent injunction, Melina Midtoy-Polum requests the court, after trial on the merits, to grant the following permanent injunctions enjoining the parties, their agents, servants, employees, and attorneys. So pretty much everyone involved this is the following injunction. Directly or indirectly disseminating, publishing, or causing to be published, or directly or indirectly requesting a person disseminating or publishing any letter, story, statement, correspondence, description, or depiction of any kind whatsoever, including on any social media, whether fictionalized or not, which is or could be reasonably interpreted to be disparaging, negative, or defamatory in its description of the other party's personal, professional, private, or family life, including without limitation the business or the financial affairs of the other party.
So here's the thing. I can understand if it's defamatory or derogatory, but because it's negative, he can't say anything negative about it. You're trying to shaft this man. You're trying to take everything from him. You gonna take his wallet and turn it every way but loose, and you want him to not say anything about it at all, or nobody around him can say anything about it at all, or he could get sued for it. But you can go out there and say whatever you want, huh? Y'all are slimy, man. That's why the Bible kind of warned you about these types of women.
So essentially, anyone involved with me whatsoever could not talk about this divorce. Spoiler, that did not get granted because obviously we're talking about it now. I'll explain why that didn't get granted, because essentially that's an infringement on my First Amendment right to the Constitution of the United States of America, which is freedom of speech. Melina Midtoy-Polum requests the court order Nicholas Michael Polum to pay reasonable attorney's fees, expenses, and costs through trial and appeal, and a judgment should be rendered in favor of Melina Midtoy-Polum against Nicholas Michael Polum and be ordered to pay directly to Melina Midtoy-Polum. Melina Midtoy-Polum requests post-judgment interest as allowed by law. Also, it says Melina Midtoy-Polum requests the court deny any and all of Nicholas Polum's requested relief filed with the court. So that's a lot. I'll explain quickly what she wanted. She wanted a 60-40 split because of her reasons listed. She wanted me to pay her $5,000 a month for 5 years. She wanted the majority of my part of the split to be locked up in my OTK shares. She wanted me not to be able to talk about the case whatsoever. She wanted the things about taxes. She also wanted me to pay her lawyer fees. So,
I mean, at this point, she might as well also say she wants a whip and she wants you to be a slave for her 40 hours a week, and she also wants you to buy her a private jet, and she wants your children's inheritance too. At that point, like, what else are you gonna ask for? $5,000 a month for 5 years. Let's do the math. 5,000 times 12 months. That's $60,000 a year. That's $300,000 just because we were married at some point. You guys are like greedy. Like, the man's greed is really baffling to me. The fact that you can even fix your lips, or you fixed your lips to say this, and then your lawyer put it on paper because, they have to. Once you hire a lawyer, whatever you ask for, they have to present it to the other party. The fact that you even asked for this, I think you deserve a slap in the face. I talk about slapping people all the time because I think slapping people is something that we need to bring back. I don't think people get slapped enough. I think somebody should have looked at what she was asking for and be like, what is wrong with you? A good smack sometimes set people straight. You got to do it in the right way, though. It can't be too aggressive. You know what I mean? You can't knock them out. You just got, you know what I mean? Just it's like rebooting the system. You know how sometimes you got to hard reset your computer? Sometimes you got to hard reset a person. Yeah, that's my take on it.
What did I want? Let's get into it. It's not going to be as long as what she wanted, so we'll keep it plain as possible. I'll read it as is, just like I did with hers. Number 1. Grounds of divorce. Nicholas Michael Polum requests that the court be granted a divorce on the grounds of insupportability. There's that word again, insupportability. This is the only thing that we agreed upon in the entire case, which is good. It really is. Next, division of community property. Nicholas Michael Polum requests that the court divide the community estate in a manner that the court deems just in right as provided by law and set out in Exhibit A attached hereto. So Exhibit A is essentially a exhibit with spreadsheets, and it ends up being a 50-50 split down the middle. Stocks, shares, cash, everything. Next.
And that's nicer than I would have offered. I don't even think it should be a 50-50, 60-40, nothing like that. At best, 80-20. Really 0%. You don't have any kids with this man. You are an adult woman who still has the ability to work. I can understand maybe if she hasn't been working for some years, maybe I think grant her the $5,000 a month for 1 year so that you can get your life in order. You can go to school. That'd be enough for you to pay for your credits for a year, get you a certification, go work in human resources and make someone else's life miserable. Because don't nobody like anybody that works in human resources. Video for another day. But I would say I'd be okay with that. Maybe not 5,000. I would say 3,000 a month for 2 years. Go get your little associate's degree. Yeah, go out there, work, and go make a living for yourself. And don't be trying to reach into someone else's pocket. I'm still tripping off the 300,000 over 5 years for maintenance. And are you gonna ask for an increase and adjust for inflation? let's say my income skyrockets. Is that $5,000 not going to turn to $10,000? Are you going to go try to get another judgment against me? What is wrong with you hoes? My bad. Try not to cuss.
Next, separate property. Nicholas Michael Polum requests that the court confirm and assign his separate property to Nicholas Michael Polum as set out in Exhibit A, attached here too. So my stuff is my stuff. Melena also had her stuff is her stuff, which makes sense to me. Next, waste and reconstitution. Nicholas Michael Polum requests the court to find that Melena Nmplol Polum has committed waste on the community and to reconstitute what ought be the actual existing value of the estate as a part of the court's just and right division of the community estate as set out in Exhibit A attached here too. So just a waste claim, essentially. She had one against me, so I had one against her. I'm not trying to get into the gritty details of that. Next, attorney's fees. Order Melena Nmplol Polum pay a portion of Nicholas Michael Polum's attorney fees, expenses, and costs, rendering a judgment against Melena Nmplol Polum in favor of Kirker Davis LLP attorneys for Nicholas Michael Polum, and order Melena Nmplol Polum to pay such a judgment directly to Stephen W. Payne and Kirker Davis LLP, who may enforce the judgment in attorney's own name with post-judgment interest as allowed by law. Attorney's fees. And then my last thing that I asked for, request for Melena Nmplol Polum. Nicholas Michael Polum requests that all relief requested by Melena Nmplol Polum be denied. So essentially,
basically, she pays for her own lawyer fees. He pays for his own lawyer fees, and she don't get $5,000 a month, and he's still willing to give her 50-50. Still willing to give her 50-50. He's a kinder man than most. I would have said screw that, but this also explains why Dr. Dre a few years ago, I don't know how familiar you guys are with this, but Dr. Dre was going through a divorce. And I guess it stressed him out so bad the man had a stroke. He woke up and he was like, give her everything. he had a stroke, got out the hospital, and was like, just give her whatever she wants. Get her out of my life. You gotta understand how stressful this gotta be. For a man to have a stroke, I don't know what he saw on the other side of that. He probably seen Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad. He saw everybody, and they was all like, brother, just give her the money. And Dr. Dre, when he got out the hospital, he was like, just give her the bread, bro. I don't want no more of this. I don't want to deal with this. I'm not trying to go to court. Just take the money and leave me alone. Because sometimes that piece is worth more than any dollar amount. That piece is worth more than you could even ever imagine. And yeah, I think Dr. Dre is doing fine now. He got rid of her. Well, let me not say got rid of. He wasn't apparently the best husband. But he didn't want to deal with her anymore. He didn't want to deal with the case anymore. So he was just like, you know what? Whatever she asked for, just give it to her. Leave me alone. And I get it. I'm glad he didn't go the same route because this is crazy. He ain't got Dr. Dre money. He's financially affluent, but he ain't got Dr. Dre money to where he could just give her whatever she wants, especially not the $5K every single month. No, just take me to jail at that point. I'll stream from inside of a prison cell. They're doing it right now. They got prison streamers. I'll find somebody to sneak a cell phone through their butt cheeks, and then I'll just be going live every day doing push-ups and burpees. I'll make that money back one way or another.
Essentially what I'm asking for in this is a clean 50-50 split down the middle, just like I wanted back in April and March of 2025. What we have here is the court's ruling. This is what everyone's been waiting for, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Dear counsel, from January 12th, 2026 to January 13th, 2026, the court presided over this case and took it under advisement. The ruling of the court...
I'm nervous. It's like watching Maury trying to figure out who's the father or not. Let's see what the court's decided.
Is as follows. Divorce is granted on the grounds of insupportability. It's good. That's what I wanted. That's what Melena wanted. It's a no-fault divorce. Next, division of community property. 50% to Mr. Polum and 50% to Miss Polum, with the exception of King's Gaming Lab, Starforge, ordered to be split 55% to Miss Polum and 45% to Mr. Polum. The court finds that the disproportionate share of those funds are warranted due, number one, the disparity of the earning power, number two, nature of the property involved, and three, waste. So
disparity of earning power? She has equal power to earn. I thought that's what they fought for. I thought they out-earn us. They're more educated. What is going on here? How does she not have equal power to earn? Can't she just go stream too? I don't know if she is a streamer or if she isn't. What the hell is going on? What is this? So she gets 45%. He gets 45%. She gets 55% of his stock. Boy, he should be happy he's not working the job with the pension, because she would have gotten 50% of that too. I'd never retire. I'll just keep working to the day I die. Hopefully she croaks before me.
So let me explain, before everyone gets all excited, what that means. I have a very small ownership in Starforge. She gets 5% more than I do, and if you do the math, it ends up being about 15K.
No, she gets 10% more. It's a 55-45 split. She gets 10% more. And he said it's only about $15,000. I guess that's not crazy relatively to how much he makes, but still crazy to hear.
If you remember during Melena's disposition of issues, she had asked for a 60-40 split because of things like economic and financial abuse of the petitioner. She did not get that. The community estate was essentially just 50-50 split down the middle, with the exception of Starforge, which is about a $15,000 extra towards Malay. And it makes sense to me. I will probably earn more than her going forward, and that seems pretty fair to me.
No, it doesn't make sense. And no, it's not fair. We can't just be accepting these things because it's over with. That's not a fair split. It's not. Did she have no ability to work before or after you? This is not a fair split. This is not fair. I'm not gonna allow him to say that. This is not a fair split. He's only cool with it because he got the monkey off his back. I don't know if she's black. If she is, that wasn't supposed to be racist. I apologize. But monkey's just too funny of a word. But yeah, he got the gorilla. That's no better. He got this issue off his back. He feels like a sigh of relief because she didn't shaft him completely, but he still got shafted. It's like when you go negotiate for a car, and let's say the car is like $60,000, and you're like, I'll give you 45, and they're like, how about 55? And you're like, I'll take it. You think you got a deal on a $60,000 car? In reality, you still overpaid, just not as bad as you would have before. That's not a win for you because they're still winning at the end. They probably upcharged you for the car anyway. That sticker price was an upcharge, and then you managed to get them down a little bit, and you think, oh yeah, I negotiated something, I won. No, they're killing you still. And that's what happened here. Relatively compared to what she was asking for, he feels like, you know what, cool, that's fair, that's fine. But in reality, nah, man, he got shafted.
To me. Up next, and this is very, very, very important because it has to do with my shares. Nick and Nmplol are designated as constructive trustee for Miss Polum's interests. So what that means, I don't have to send her my shares. I don't have to send her cash for the shares. I will hold her shares in my name until they're sold, if and when they're sold.
I would never sell them joints. I would never, ever sell them joints. Hell no. Or if anything, I would wait until I took a loss, until their shares are worth nothing, then I'd sell. Now, you might be saying, wait, hold on, you lose too. Yeah, but she'd lose more. I'm perfectly fine with that. Don't ever sell them things. Borrow against it. Borrow against the shares. Use it as collateral, and that's how you're going to access that money. There you go. You got your workaround. Don't ever sell those things, in my humble opinion.
So that was a big, big, big deal for me. Doesn't put me in generational debt, and if they sell, they sell. Up next, attorney's fees, denied. Each party pays their own attorney's fees. Motion to seal the court records, denied. Injunctions, denied. Post-divorce maintenance, denied. That means me not being able to talk about the case was denied, and the $5,000 a month for 5 years that Milena wanted was also denied. She did not get that.
Thank you, Jesus. Every time you doubt God a little bit, he give you a reason to believe. You know what I mean? No maintenance, none of that. And you know what the best part of it is? She has to pay her own lawyer fees. I wonder how much it cost them. They were in there for like a year, so it had to be at least close to like $150,000. $150,000 she's going to have to come out of pocket. So yeah, some of this money that she's going to be getting from him is going to go straight to that lawyer. Congratulations. You played yourself.
Each party is to keep credit card in its debt in their own name. Each party to keep household furnishings in their possession. So all this stuff in this house is mine. All the stuff in hers is hers. Each party to keep their jewelry and personal items. So for example, that necklace that I wore, I get to keep. Pokemon card collection to be divided equally. Mr. and Mrs. Polum to each keep.
Pokemon's collection. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all really think she wanted the Pokemons? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she just wanted it because it was his. That's the only reason. She didn't want him. I'm just guessing here. I have to maybe look into them. Maybe she is really into Pokemons, but I don't think she wanted it. You know what it reminds me of? When Sugar Shane Mosley went through his divorce. You know, this lady was granted his championship belts. What do you want with that? And she was like, I'm not being evil. I'm going to give them to each of my sons when they turn 18, something to keep. He could have done that himself. Why did you take his championship belts? Why did you do that? And by the way, I found out this year from Terrence Crawford, they pay for those belts. When it comes to boxing, like the WBC, the WBO, and the other one, when you win a boxing championship, you got to pay like $45,000 to actually keep the belt. That's why Terrence Crawford was like, man, you keep that goddamn belt. I don't need it. I'm still a champion. I don't have to hold and carry the belt, which is crazy to me that they charge you for the championship belt. To get back to it, this is, to me, just seems like something that she just wanted to have because it was his. Unless the Pokemon's collection was like worth a lot, I don't see any reason to take it. I just don't get it.
Keep their own online skins. Magic the Gathering card collection to be divided equally. The Super 73 bike is awarded to Miss Polum. Each party to keep ownership of their own social media accounts. 2023 Cadillac Escalade is awarded.
Ownership of their own social media accounts. Was that even in question? How are social media accounts considered something that you can ask for in court? Are they now considered assets? I guess if you make money off of it, it could be considered an asset. But oh my God, you can take my digital world that doesn't technically exist from me. I would have deleted the account. You want my, yeah, go ahead. Boom, deleted. Oh, I got hacked. It's gone. I don't know what happened. Hacked, gone. Bye. Good. Talk to Instagram. Talk to YouTube about what happened. I don't know. Somebody hacked me. I don't have access no more.
Awarded to Miss Polum. 2021 Nissan GTR is awarded to me. So that was the court's ruling. To summarize, it was essentially the same exact offer that I had offered her back in March and April of 2025, with the exception of the extra $15K. This court case lasted well over a year. It cost over $400,000.
Whoa, I severely undershot. I thought it was like 150. 400 grand? So that means her lawyer fees are probably comparable. Meaning, oh boy, she got nothing basically. So they both lost. I know this might seem like a win for him, but they both lost. She lost significantly more. He's going to be able to bounce back from this. He's a young man. He's apparently talented, 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. Make sure you guys go subscribe to his channel. Let's run his money up so he can get, everything going. Not that he needs my help. Now, I don't even got 100 subscribers, but God bless him, because they both lost, but she lost way more. That's what happens when you try to be greedy. You try to take so much, you end up getting nothing in the end. And I'm happy that she lost. And I'm happy that she didn't get everything she was asking for. She didn't get the majority of what she was asking for. And now she's $400,000 in debt. Congratulations, you played yourself. And I want to reiterate, this is not a win for him. He still lost too. He just lost less than what she was asking for. He lost less than what probably people were expecting, and she lost less than, and he lost less than she did. But it's still a loss. Let's not get it twisted. It's a loss.
In lawyer fees, expert fees, and in my opinion, most of it was unnecessary. But I had to go. I had no choice. If I was to continue to stream through everything, people would have been harassing me about it the entire time, like they did when I first started. And I do believe that me not streaming was the quickest way to come to a conclusion with this divorce. So there was a lot of rumors and things that kind of spawned from this case, because documents were leaked and people made up their own theories and ran with them. I could sit here and diffuse all of them. It'd be pretty easy because none of them were true. But honestly, I got the ruling that I wanted, and I'm not going to do that. I might.
So go watch the rest of this video. I think there's only like 2 minutes left or something like that. I played at 1.25 speed because I don't like to waste y'all's time. And I want to congratulate him on the wins that he did get. I'm happy for him. The fact that he didn't get screwed over as bad as she wanted to screw him over, because this could have went way worse. And like I mentioned, I'm so happy that she got almost nothing that she asked for. You know what I mean? She got the Super 73 bike, which is a nice bike. I've always wanted one of those. I like e-bikes. Got his Pokemon's collection, or half of it at least. But this is wild to me. Absolutely wild. This is not a win. They both lost. But I'm happy he wasn't screwed over too terribly, relatively speaking, and I hope that he gets it together. But fellas, be careful. The Bible tells you that a man would be better off dwelling in the wilderness than being at home with an angry and contentious wife. And he had an angry and contentious wife, and she tried to take everything from him, and now she's in the red. So God bless you, my good sir. I hope everything turns out splendid. And for you, the woman, I hope your pillow is always warm. And I hope every time you wash your hands with long sleeves, a stream of water goes up your sleeve. Be easy.